Good morning. Sorry I've been gone for about 2 or 3 days. Glad to be back. Um, I'm so sad when I skip these. I don't feel good. And I also don't like when I don't do as good as other days. That's okay. Run out of energy drinks. I get screwed. Get tired. Last time I bought, what was it? I bought two 24 packs and a 12 pack, and that was enough for the month. But this month it went faster for some reason. I guess I didn't um, resist or conserve as well this month when it comes to the energy drinks, which is kind of sad. I was hoping they would actually last that month. It's almost the 8th of the month, though. So I only have like 10 more days to wait to buy more. Coffee normally works, but not as good. Like coming from a huge amount of energy drinks to coffee, like crashed for like 2 days. So coffee doesn't do it for me, unfortunately. It will in a few days, though. Once my body gets used to not having a huge amount of caffeine, I'll be all right. It's true, though. Just have to adjust. I'd prefer to have the energy drink, to be honest. Keeps me up as long as I want. Can pretty much do it any time I want. Do my readings every day. Keep track of a bunch of appointments. Help people. Gosh, I'd rather have my energy drinks, I drop the ball when I don't have them, Oh, well. That's true, though. The Lord's Prayer. Our Father who is in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive them that trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us meditate and love God's law and speak it into our hearts. Let us pray that God will write it upon our hearts as well. Help me to practice not to be flippant about your law, God, and help me to put you first and then to study and practice doing good. Galatians chapter 5, verse 22 through 26. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Those who belong to Christ Jesus have crucified the sinful nature with its passions and desires. Since we live by the Spirit, let us keep in step with the Spirit. Let us not become conceited, provoking, and envying one another. The 10 Commandments. Put God first. Put praise and worship in Him. Praise and worship Him only. Keep God's name holy. Keep the Lord's Day special. Obey your parents. Do not harm anyone. Love the one you marry. Don't take anything that's not yours. Tell the truth. Don't be jealous of what others have. Lord, let these words go into my mind, spirit, soul, body, and heart. Help me to ensure that I always practice what I preach each day, and thank you, and to sow into the Spirit and bear fruit of the Spirit if it is your will, and to behave righteously and love others and bless them. Thank you. I'd like to say sorry, God, for asking for favors more than spending time getting to know you. You help people and myself so much. You and I and others barely have time to talk to you and or get to know you better. Please let us spend more time together getting to know each other. Thank you if time permits of it if it is your will. As well as these words, our family will love and accept one another, pray for one another, tell the truth to each other, be kind to one another, bring joy to each other, serve one another, be patient with each other, comfort one another, forgive one another, be generous with each other, honor one another. Let us all learn how to be kind and hospitable to each other in this world. Thank you. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10 to 18. The armor of God. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God, so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. And after you've done everything to stand firm then, with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, and the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. In addition to all this, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, and pray in the Spirit on all occasions with all kinds of prayers and requests. With this in mind, be alert and always keep on praying for the Lord's people. Pray also for me, that whenever I speak, words may be given me, so that I will fearlessly make known the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in chains. Pray that I may declare it fearlessly as I should. Romans chapter 13, verse 1. Let everyone be subject to governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. Titus chapter 3, verse 1. Remind the people to be good subjects to rulers and authorities, to be obedient and to do whatever is good. Psalm 23, King James Version. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. Now dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Prayer for serenity. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, taking as Jesus did this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you'll make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next, by Reinhold Niebuhr. Hello, this is God. I will be handling all of your problems today. That's my job. Your job is to give them to me and then to trust me. I do not need your help, so have a good day. Thank you, and may God or Christ be with you all. I'll pray for you. Please continue to pray for me, your church, my church, churches, this country, your country, countries in this world. Thank you. I hope you all have a great rest of your day or night. Thank you for listening, and I hope it was helpful or informative and provided good information or help for you. Don't forget to read your choice of personal daily devotional book, because I'm still reading My Comfort is Jesus by Ray Comfort. I hope that you'll find one day you can read one too, or I recommend the one I read as well. The second step prayer. Heavenly Father, I know in my heart that you can restore me. Only you can restore me to sanity. I humbly ask you to remove all my twisted thought and addictive behavior from me this day. Heal in my spirit and restore in me a clear mind. The virtue of diligence. God of all grace, your word teaches us that whatever we do, we should do it heartily as to the Lord and not to men. Infuse me with the spirit of diligence. Let me approach each task, whether big or small, as an offering to you. May I find joy in labor and satisfaction in completing each task with excellence. Jesus, you are the ultimate example of diligence and commitment, faithfully completing the work your Father sent you to do, even to the point of death on the cross. Embolden me with a similar drive to fulfill the responsibilities that lie in my path, not for my own glory, but for yours. Guide me to be a faithful steward of the time and opportunities you have granted me. Colossians chapter 3, verse 23 through 24. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord and not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. John chapter 4, verse 4 through 34. Jesus said to them, my food is to do the will of him who sent me, and to accomplish his work. Thank you. May God or Christ be with you all and bless you all. Please pray for me, yourself, and my friends and family, and your friends and family in this world. I hope you can find a nice devotional book like the one by Charles Spurgeon, Devotionals Morning and Evening, if I didn't mention that already. And I'll pray for you in my free time, on stream or off. If you request, if you have prayer requests, let me know. I'm going to go have a great rest of your day. Sorry I woke up late again. Sorry about yesterday and the day before. But I'm here. Sorry I missed you. You can always read a previous one. It's basically the same exact thing, just not specifically for that day. Yes. All right. So I'm normally good. I'm good without this. I don't really need this every day, but I do try to read this every day, and I can sleep through it and nothing bad happens, but it's better to have this in your mind fresh, to be honest. I left off on the 27th. I don't think I even read the evening reading of my book, but I'm going to probably go back and read that. And the morning reading for today, try to catch up. I missed a few days, but I'm doing all right. I don't recommend slacking on that. I wanted to talk about a few things. Better not to. Number one, definitely better not to. Take a break. It's like backsliding. So, what I would do is not take a break as much as possible, as you really need to. Help when you can, and also remember to mention things people need to learn. I'll go on video camera right now. I want to give you a message from me to you, from God, and from others. Don't become Paul. I know I look like that crazy guy. Just stays at home and he's like, another chapter of Revelation is happening today. Just for real. All right, so I look a little disheveled. All right, well, at this age, my parents would have bought a house for themselves. But anyway, honestly, though, I wanted to teach you about Paul. Is he a good or bad influence? He's necessary. Paul of the Bible. I don't have a brush to brush my hair here. So, oh yeah, I do. Fell down. Sometimes I bring a brush. It doesn't help much. That's obvious. It didn't help very much. It helped, though. So, moving on. Why is Paul important? I won't be too slow today. I'm trying to use my brain a little bit. I'm not going to make you wait an hour for me to give you this message. I think it's really important from God. Paul was important, but should you imitate him? Would it be better if Paul had not done all those crimes to Christians previously? No, there has to be a way in for people to be saved. Even though Paul got what was coming to him, he got beheaded, died, that doesn't have to be the case. Paul saved a lot of people. He did what he could to make up for what he did, and he ended up getting killed, not like Peter. Peter got crucified upside down. Paul got beheaded, and he used to be Saul of Tarsus. He was like a dictator, ruler, brutalizer, not a barbarian, but just some guy who was very powerful, and he killed a lot of people for being Christian. And then he saw things were about to turn around, and he might be fucked. And he was like, oh shit. But not really. That's not really what happened. But kind of it is, because he had a vision from God and Jesus that convinced him he had to serve God now. And so he did. And you may say, well, is Paul a bad character? Not every Paul gets crucified. Not every Paul gets beheaded. Some Christians die too. for being Christians, having no prior major sins, like murder. But, like, an example is like an ex-killer, murderer, goes and becomes an FBI agent, actually does good, and then doesn't go to jail or kill anyone anymore. It happens. It can happen. But that's exactly why maybe an investigator or an interrogator or a detective can be an old bad guy, but even currently a bad guy. That's true too. But more reasonably, let's say one became a Christian and stopped doing that altogether. That would be a good example of someone turning from their sins and becoming a good example. And that person would become a good example for any serial killer who that person met, who said, you have hope, you can change, you can turn into a good person today. And maybe I'll go easy on you if I'm convinced you're not killing anyone anymore. Because I got a second chance. How about you? You know, and that's why that's a good thing to have. And, you know, God doesn't disagree with this. It's when it backfires, God's not happy. And when it backfires, people aren't happy. When people don't actually follow through, that's when people aren't happy. But if you can actually change, people are happy. Stay that way, you know. And it's a good example to show that people can change. But it's also good for Christianity. It's also good for God. It's good for Jesus. It's good for people in general. And Paul did so much work. And don't say that this is what I wanted to teach you. You don't have to become a serial killer. You don't have to become Paul and kill a bunch of people in order to be Paul today. You know, even learning from their mistakes, you can become Paul. You can pretend you did that, but you shouldn't, just to make you feel guilty enough to want to be Paul or to be whatever you want to be, to motivate, right? But that's not a good form of motivation. This is another thing. You don't need to do bad things. Jesus taught us that in the first place. Paul is like the people who did do bad things to come to Christ. Jesus is for the people who didn't do bad things to come to Christ. You're innocent, go to Jesus. For those who are guilty, go to Paul, and then go to Jesus. Right. So that's why I wanted to teach you this. There are people who are like Paul, who are worse than Paul, who are good today, who can help you change your ways. Not just me, but there's others. You know, don't look at me like I'm the worst guy. I just know and learn from my previous past mistakes, my experience learning about the Bible, and that's why I'm glad to be here. Is you don't have to be a bad guy to be Paul. You don't have to be a bad guy to be serial killer turned FBI detective turned good guy. You don't have to do that. Just be a good person. It's better. It's better if you just start good, stay good. Don't want to imitate these 2 or 3 unless it's for some reason your destiny. Like we needed someone like that today. And maybe it was. Maybe we need someone like that today. It could be. But today I don't think we do. You know, we've solved that problem. We have enough people like that in the world. We have thousands of millions of people like that in the world. We don't need more people doing more crimes, encouraging more serial killers, encouraging more murderers, encouraging more warmongers, which we've had thousands of to learn from in the past, that their mistakes were mistakes. Most of the time, Hitler was a mistake. I would say most of us would agree that every single warmonger who did a genocide had made a mistake. They almost all fall because of it. Every time they do this, people turn against them. They say, that's not right. That guy needs to be stopped. He's dangerous. He'll do it again. And that's what mostly always happens. I don't want it to go the other way, but it does sometimes. Sometimes they continue doing it, like Stalin, for a long time. Some people in history did it for a long time. Never got away with it. Never got caught up for it. Just kept genociding people. It happens, but it can be prevented. And it should be prevented. Don't let it keep going. It could be you next. You never know. Do not let that stuff happen to you and your country. I like America, but I see some Americans are weak. Cowards. They don't believe in violence at all. That's not necessarily Christian of you. Christians are anti-violence. But if you have to kill somebody to stop them from killing thousands, do it. Stop them, however you have to. Save lives. Don't be a coward. Seriously, don't be stupid. Don't be stupid, America. I'm not saying go ahead, kill someone, jump the gun, trigger happy, pop, 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 pop. That was a bad guy. That was a bad guy. No, don't do that. I didn't say that. I'm not encouraging that. Okay. I'm just saying when you know that someone is bad, actively bad, doing really bad things constantly, do something at least. You don't have to kill them. Stop them. Imprison them. Arrest them. Get them set up. Get them effed up. Do what you have to do. You know? Active bad people. Or future potentially bad people. You know? Most people don't trust serial killers. I understand that. I'm not one. And I'm not on cooldown. I'm not going to be one in the future. You can trust me. I wouldn't do that. And I would never go back to doing that. You know? It's just not my character. And I'm strong enough. But just like everyone else, I think we can all become victim of MK Ultra. Anybody can be. I mean, it doesn't have to be anyone. It's normally people don't like. But what kind of bad person would do that to me or everyone else again? Or someone else? You know, like, if I got MK Ultra, I'd consider myself innocent. Leave me alone. I didn't do nothing. I just didn't see it coming. People didn't like me in school. I got MK Ultra. Because no one liked me in town. It's because I was like disposable trash. I got MK Ultra. Everyone's like, he's got he set me up. What the fuck? Because you don't like me, you can MK Ultra me these days? You guys are fucked up. You guys need to stop doing that. You need to stop. But maybe he's so useful, he's good at it. Make him do it again. Stop it, guys. What the fuck? If that's the case, why don't you just let me be a full-time, like, secret agent assassin or something instead of just MK Ultra to me? That's rude. If you think I'm so good at it, you have to be a dick. Just, like, force me into robot mode and make me go kill people and then come back and be like, nothing happened. What the fuck is that? That's so disrespectful. You don't even want to clue me into the mission? That's disrespectful. You're using me like I'm a patsy, like an idiot. You're like, but he's so good at it. Maybe I'm good at it because I'm actually intelligent. Why are you treating me like this? Is it my race? Is it my skin tone? You could be paying me for this. You just don't like me. It's not my intellect. It's not my background. It's not my family. It's not my race. It's just because I said something you didn't like and you didn't want to forgive me. That's rude. Unforgiving. That's rude. People these days have their own social classes and middle class, lower class, upper class, social rungs on the ladder. You're not good enough for this. You're not good enough for that. Or I don't like you. Your attitude bad. You're uncouth. You're dirty. You're filthy. You're slimy. You're shameful. You're filthy. You're dirty. You don't clean up after yourself. You live a messy life. You don't wear fancy suits and ties. You don't brush your teeth enough. You don't brush your hair. You don't shower every day. You don't do this. You don't do that. Is that the only reason, though? You don't like me? I don't do exactly the same exact things you do? Doesn't mean I can't. I certainly can. And they say, why don't you then? I just want to remind you, I'm just like you. I might even be better. I'm just a lazy version of you. Just a lazy version of you. I'm not better than everyone in the world, intellectually, socially, or physically. But I'm not the worst either. I can fall down and be the least favorite human in the world. I can rise up and be one of the favorite humans in the world. Not the favorite. Not the favorite. Definitely not. Probably not. One of very high level, very well liked humans. But there will still be a group of people who think I'm not good enough for them. I'm not part of their group class. He wasn't born rich. He's not good enough. He's not genetically good enough. He's not physically good enough. He's not smart enough because he didn't get raised knowing this or that. His education was different than mine. His worldviews are different than mine. His physical appearance is different than mine. You guys are all so very different. That's true. We are all different from me, even. Especially, you're so much different than me. How I treat others and I treat myself is so much different than the way I get treated. This is like worlds apart. What group and social class do I belong to? I belong to a majority of anti-racist people. It's one of the biggest social groups I belong to. The Martin Luther King Jr. types. Some of us are Democrats, some of us are Republicans. We're just people who like to treat others fairly. Not perfectly, equally. Some people would say equity, but then they'll mock that word too. They mock equity, they mock equality. People mock at it. They say that's what you get when you get equality. That's what you get when you get equity. They make it seem like it's a bad thing. I'd rather have communism than 10 people have everything and everyone else have nothing. Fair enough. And those 10 people are greedy as motherfuckers. They don't share with anyone. But 8.2 billion of us are like, where's my food? Why don't we do things for ourselves? They took everything. How are they even? They tricked everyone to protect them. Oh, we're fucked. Those 10 people fucking screwed us? How? Obviously, this is a good time for a revolution, but, like, good luck. Apparently, they got it held down tight. So, yeah, I'd rather have communism because then we'd have more for each other. Because communism is more like socialism, equality. You all get food. You all get this. You all get that. Versus everyone suffers over here. Might as well be genocided. You'd be better off dead. But they'll keep you alive for just a little bit. Here's some scrapes and grains. Just to see that we're not that bad. We're not that bad. We gave them scraps. They're happy. We gave them the cheap dollar store candy. They're still alive. They suffer. Yeah, they don't have nice things, but at least they're still alive. We didn't genocide them. What's the reason for the revolution, everybody? Just 10 of us have everything and you guys have nothing. What's the reason for the revolution? There's no reason. It's pretty much today. Give people a reason not to revolt, and they will probably fall for it. And they'll never get those things they want. They'll never get what they want in capitalist society. Most people don't. But, so they say, well, then let's give more people more things, like 50%. That should do. That normally does do it, because that 40% can't beat the 60. The 60% have everything. The 40% is going to be like, fuck you. All the time. They're going to hate you. Yeah. Then the 60% is like, let's try to appease them by giving them a marshmallow. They're like, fine, thank you. God, thank you. Versus everybody basically relatively happy enough, not arguing and fighting over who has what more than others. Yeah, I'd take that. The only people who really want capitalism is like the top 10 smartest people in the world, the top 10%. The only people who really want capitalism, and they control all the media. They control all what you see. They're the only ones because they're the fastest, smartest, and most competitive and greediest. They're the only ones who want it. They'll hold it down tight. And they'll convince you want it to by giving you lots of nice things, as long as you serve them. But that's the thing. You're slaves. You're not free. That's why I don't really like this capitalism. You're not free. And it became evil too. You have to join secret societies. You have to kill, murder, steal, and cheat for them. You have to do all sorts of bad things. It's kind of an evil system, if you ask me. So yeah, I'd rather have something else. I don't know how to convince you that communism isn't as bad as that, but that's the best I can do. You know? And I'm not saying capitalism and communism can't have a baby. They can have a baby and it'll work out fine. But it has to work out fine. It doesn't have to be perfect, and I've already talked about this. I'd rather have 99% people happy, 1% sad, versus what we have now. 100%. If you can do it, just do it. Stop being dicks to that 1%. Stop being dicks to that 40%. Stop being dicks. Care about each other. Know how to do it. Do it right. Most of you don't do good at school. So why should I let someone who got a 40% on his test quiz results be in charge of a large group of people? He'll fail to serve them well. Yes. I should care about that. We should care about that. Even if someone got 100%, how can I trust this person who got an 8%, 100% on his test quiz results with this small group of people he clearly hates? He will be unfair and unkind to them. He will not give them what they want. Unfair and unkind, not fair and kind. Fair and kind, maybe, if he likes them. If he doesn't want to keep all that money for himself. So it's like, I'm the king. I give Thomas $100,000. Take care of this group of people. That's not enough, I know, but let's pretend it is. Take care of this 20,000 people with this money. Can I trust you, Thomas? It makes my life easier. Can I trust you? Do you have anything against them? No, I'll do it right. I don't want to spend too much time investigating whether or not you do it right, Thomas. I'm a very busy man. I'll come back if I fucking get around to it. I'm very busy. I hope you don't drop the ball. Don't drop the ball on those people. Take care of yourself, number one, but don't let that be a reason not to help certain people. Don't skip 10% of them just because you want a little extra for you. Mm-hmm. That's how it always goes, Thomas. They always want a little extra for them instead of taking care of the small group over there. That's how it always is. Instead of you being willing to save, like, let's say you made $700,000 a year. I give you $700,000 a year, Thomas. But instead of that, you wanted $2 million or $5 million instead of taking care of those people over there because you'd have more. And that would be better. Thomas, you know I'm not watching. Why do you have to do it that way every time? What can I convince you to stop doing it that way? Mm. Sorry, I got interrupted. How can you convince Thomas to actually take care of that whole group of people without taking that percentage for himself? To give him $5 million instead of $700,000. Well, you'd have to take someone who's really able to accept that $700,000 is better than nothing, and it's enough, and it's better to take care of them instead of myself, although I could get away with it. But these days, everybody wants to get away with it. And, that's what most people end up doing. And then they classify themselves as better, even though they just got a handout. Could have been anybody. That's what really makes me mad about this country. That's what makes me mad about a lot of people in this world, is they're actually all very similar and are worse or better than others who could have gotten that chance and end up having more. And that's what frustrates me and others. They become enemies and rivals because it's like, why did you, someone worse than me, intellectually and physically and socially and financially, get more than I did? Why do you have more than me? This is what happens in capitalism. People start wondering, why do you have more than I do? Anger, hatred, jealousy, and mistrust. Misunderstanding. Some people just can't let it go. Not everybody's Christian. Not everybody has forgiveness. Not everybody can control their jealousy and anger at the injustice, the unfairness. Life's not fair. God never said life was fair. Did God ever say life was fair for everyone? No. But who's in charge of how fair it really is? I think God left that up to us. At the end of the day, it's whether or not we listen to Him. What does He want? I would ask Him right now, God, what would you like? Mm, 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 mm. I don't know, God. I kind of went on a tirade without your permission. that was that was all me. Sorry. I don't mean to make America hate me. It's my fault. Mhm. That's not me being self-destructive, and I don't mean to make God hate me either. I was just trying to sort something out for myself and others. Good. You don't have anything to say, God? You don't want to say anything? I mean to put you on the spot. That was me putting God on the spot. You didn't really have anything to say. He doesn't obey me. He doesn't do what I tell him to do. That's how God is. Yeah. I guess he's mad at me right now if he doesn't have anything to say, unless if he said something, it would, I don't know, I'm just assuming. Maybe I'm talking too much, but yeah, never mind. Daniel needs some coffee. This has been a 40-minute thing. Oh god, Daniel looks really bad. He looks like a hobo. Daniel, you look like a hobo. Hmm. You know, did you know once you touch a hobo, you become a hobo? That's what the world says. Is that what God says? No. Is that true? No. But that's what the world says. But is that what the world makes to be true? Does the world make that true? Like, touch a homeless person, never get money again? Kind of thing? I didn't know that. Well, some classes say that. Oh. Do they make that their reality too? Why don't the wealthy or whoever, why doesn't people like hobos? But what is the view of the hobo from every single class type that makes people not like hobos? Criminal, dumb, worthless. Oh, why do I look like one though? You are a bum. Why does it feel like I'm not one though? I know I look like one, but it feels like I'm not one. Why? I don't know. I'm just convinced I work hard at things. It's just my brain. I'm not sure. Yes, it's true though. Let's talk about Daniel for a second. Is he a hobo? Is he a bum? He looks like one sometimes. He sure makes hobo bum faces sometimes. He acts like one. He sits around all day and doesn't even ask for money. He doesn't even have a free handout sign or something for the internet to be like, give him $100 or something. He doesn't even have one of those. He's that lazy of a bum. But that's also possibly most of the time why people don't actually treat him that badly on the internet. He doesn't constantly ask for handouts. Yeah. But is that out of laziness? It's not out of laziness, maybe stupidity. He has necessities he has to take care of, and he just doesn't do it. He just doesn't think, oh, I could sacrifice a little bit of reputation by asking for $100 right now and help my mom, and then she won't hate me. So, Daniel has a lot on his mind. He's not the smartest person in the world. Thinks about stuff, but doesn't know what to do. Trying to understand how to fix his life and other people's. Daniel is smart and definitely worthy of being able to work hard and help people a lot. But this is kind of why I'd rather put Daniel right here. This is God. I'd rather have Daniel right here than at a job, to be honest. This is the exact reason why I'd rather have Daniel right here. Not that I want him to die. I want him to help others and be helped by others and help me fix this world and do the best we can here. It's more worthy than making him work at Little Caesars. And yeah, he'll help one day. It's a worthy risk and chance. It's a worthy risk and a worthy chance to take versus the alternative, both for Daniel and God. Yeah. Mm. Daniel makes bad faces sometimes. Please cast it aside. I need some coffee if you want me to continue talking about this. I'm very tired. This is frustrating. God, do you want me to stay on stream or make it my own choice? Coffee. Turn the stream off.